Check out freetalklive.com, best pro-liberty show out there, with free podcasts and live from 7 to 10 every night. Check it out tonight.
This is Taryn Lupo. Welcome to LCL Report. For the last few weeks, there's been a rumor brewing on the internet about a liberty, I don't know if you call it a caucus, a forum, a group. Some people are calling it the Constitutional Convention. Basically, a group of some very heavy bigwig names in the liberty movement who all decided to go to Jekyll Island and have a meeting. Now, Jekyll Island is pretty close to where I live in Savannah. If you don't know where it is, it's a little island off Georgia where some very rich and very powerful families from all different genres, but mainly banking families, basically owned this island, and it was their playground. And it is elaborate. I would say, I can't remember exactly when, but the state of Georgia actually bought it from the families, and I'm sure that they still own, the powers of it, whatever. I don't really know the details, but so now it's pretty much like a tourist area. They have a hotel on it. You can have, conventions and stuff like that. Now, I still at this point wasn't even sure that there was a meeting going on until I saw this in the parking lot. And I figured I was at the right place. Any sort of liberty activist worth his salt knows this is where the Federal Reserve was created in 1910. There was a big secret meeting, and Edward Griffin wrote a book about it. And he wrote a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island, which described in amazing detail how everything went down. Talked about how there was a secret meeting between some very powerful and influential people that decided to create the Federal Reserve, and it all happened here at this hotel. And how these people came one by one in secret on special boxcars and trains all the way down to Jekyll Island. Now what's funny is this Liberty group, I guess, wanted to point out the irony and conspiracy of where the Federal Reserve got started, and kind of in an in-your-face attitude decided to do the same thing, rode trains down, had some fun with it, and held this meeting at Jekyll Island. So the irony is excellent. Really the only evidence of it, now it's not a big secret, but they don't really mention it much at the hotel. When you talk to the staff, they didn't even know what I was talking about, some of them. Only evidence left is this plaque on this door of where they met. It was clear that some people did not want to be on camera, and you can watch them turn around here. But then I got to the big meeting. Now, this meeting was going on. I tried to get in right around lunchtime. I got this far where I stepped in the room, started filming, and in a second you'll see a guy poke his head over here and throw me out, security. There was some sort of, I've never seen so much security for a libertarian meeting. I think I counted at least 10 security people, and I was thrown out with the other press where we were all basically stuck waiting outside for this thing to end. No one was actually allowed to film inside the meeting to see what was going on. What's this meeting about? Well, I talked to some of the people, and basically my understanding of it is that we kind of agree on about 90% of things, and then we fight and bicker about the last 10%. Like most liberty-minded people want to end the Fed, but we all argue about how to do it. Or they want to stop taxation, and they argue about how to do it. And I think this was an olive branch that was offered by this man who runs We the People, Mr. Schulz, and he kind of set this thing into motion, invited the heavy hitters of the liberty movement. My understanding is I think they're trying to make amends to all go one direction and make a simplified message so they can unite and be much clearer with their circles of influence. I think that's a very positive thing. I would love to see us stop bickering and work as one unit. I mean, most people I know want a smaller government at least and want the government to get out of our personal lives. I think the message doesn't have to be much more difficult than that. But I'm curious to see what they come up with. I'm sure better details will be out very soon because as I put this together, their meeting is still going on. But I can tell you this much, it's big because, I mean, look at who's here. Michael Badnarik, former candidate for Libertarian president. Adam Kokesh is running for Congress. We've got, of course, the people from We the People Foundation, Mr. Schulz and Mrs. Moore. Let's not forget the writer of The Creature from Jekyll Island, Mr. Edward Griffin. There was also Clyde Cleveland. He ran for governor in Iowa as a libertarian, and he wrote Common Sense Revisited. And there was Catherine Belash, who is a radio host for Liberty Restoration Project. There was lots of other faces there, and many that hadn't even arrived yet. But I'll keep you updated what's going on as I get the details from the inside. Last thought I'd like to leave you with is this church here on Jekyll Island. You take a good look at it, and the gargoyles are kind of neat. It was actually kind of crazy to think that 1/6 of the world wealth would be in that church on a Sunday. 1/6 of the world's wealth, all in the same spot back in the day. It's pretty kind of crazy and disturbing at the same time. But the church, even though it's so small, it actually had a signature Tiffany stained glass window in it. I mean, wow, that's pretty expensive. Just makes you realize just how crazy the Federal Reserve is and how much money is involved here. So, all in all, though, I would like to say that this is a very positive sign, and I'm glad to see this meeting happening. This is Terry Lupo, LCL Report. As always, good hunting.
LCL Report is looking for advertisers. Do you have a product, service, candidate, or charity that would love to be spotlighted? Look at our numbers. Over 250,000 views this month. Over 700 subscribers this month. Multiple awards on YouTube. Over 500 subscribers to our Facebook group. There's pretty much nothing I won't do for a good story. If you want to know about rates, just email me. So support a business that supports liberty.